Alright, hello. This video is going to go over the 2022 FRQ question involving books, textbooks. Again, for my students, please make sure you've tried this question before watching this video. It'll be a lot more meaningful if you at least have given this a shot. Alright, so anyways, we've got a book class that tracks the title of a book, like, I don't even know. Why am I struggling to think of a book? Maybe Jack and the Beanstalk, and the price like $6 or something. So this is a constructor that allows people to construct book objects. And then we have get methods for the title of the book, and then for a info, which prints the title, a dash, and then the price. Okay, and then it says there's some other stuff that might not be shown. We're going to write a textbook class, which is a subclass of the book. And remember, like, a subclass will have all of this stuff. So it'll have like this data and these methods. And then we got to add a new piece of information, which is the, like the version of it, I think. I don't know where it says that in here, but it says like a version, like a number or whatever. So I don't know where it says that, but ours is going to also take in like a version, or edition, I guess they call it, maybe the edition of the book. And then we've got to write a couple of different methods and track the info correctly. Okay, so so we have to do a method, I guess, called can substitute, which is true if like the substitute book, or if the original book substitutes for the input book, and that is true if it's like the same name textbook and then it's a newer version. Right, so as long as it's a newer version, it can substitute for an older version, is essentially what it is, older edition. Okay, so they have a bunch of examples, which I think are really, again, useful for this. So I guess my first thought is, before I go too far into it, I'm going to make my class extend book, right, because it's a subclass. And then I always do the data first, or these are sometimes called instance variables. And we only have one new piece of data, which is the version. And I think that can be an int. So maybe I'll call it addition, I guess, to match what the question is. And again, we're not going to set this data here. That's going to be set in the constructor. Okay, so next up, I would make my constructor. And a good way to do this is just to look at how it is called. So when it's created, it goes new, and then it takes in a string representing the name. This is the price, I think, which is a double, and then this is the addition. Okay, so I'm going to make my header do exactly that, string double int. Okay, so I'm going to do public textbook. That has to be the case. You have to do public, and then this textbook has to match the name of the class. And then my inputs are a string, which is the name, a double, which is the price, and then an int, which is the addition. Okay, and what I often do is I normally put an in on the end of these to differentiate them from the ones that exist inside of this class. All right, so what I mean by that is, like, basically we're going to set this addition variable to be whatever addition comes in. So we do addition equals addition, and you can do like this dot addition, right? You can certainly do it that way, but I just name them with an in on the end, representing this is like the one coming in, and we store that in the one that is already inside of here. Okay, and then the other tricky part is we can't remake a name and a price, right? We have to use the one that's up in the superclass. Okay, oh, sorry, I thought I had paused the thing. So if you look back up here, here's the one in the superclass, is just takes in the title and the price. So we just have to pass those back up. Okay, so we just have to call this constructor from our one in the subclass. Okay, and the trick here is you do super. And remember, if you want to do a method in the superclass, you do super dot, right? But for us, we're just going to do super and pass up the name and the price. Okay, and then those will get set in the superclass. So I know this doesn't show it in the question, but just to give you a visual, I typed up book, and like this is what it would look like. You would just take this title and price and set these two instance variables. Okay, and to make this code run again, we just do super without a dot, and then that data gets sent up, comes in here and here, and gets set right there and there. Okay, so we're setting those instance variables by calling the superclass constructor. And again, the only extra piece we need is addition. Okay, so next up, I just kind of looked through their calls and see if we can make what they need. So they need, let's see next, they need a get addition, which just returns the addition. So that's going to be pretty straightforward. That's just a regular get method that returns an int. So that one, hopefully, we just go public int get, what do they call it? Get addition. I guess that makes sense. And all we do is just return that int, which is just this addition variable up there. I don't think we have to do anything fancy there as far as I know. And let me know if I mess it up or something. Okay, and then the other method gets a little bit tricky. That's the one, can it substitute? And the examples here I think are the most helpful. So we made a 2015 and a 2019 biology textbook. They're both named biology. And then the 19 is edition 3 and this one's edition 2. So can the 2019 substitute for the 2015? Yep, because it's newer. Well, I mean, the year really doesn't matter, but I guess the version is newer, so it counts. Okay, but the reverse is not true. So 2015 can't substitute for 2019 because the addition is lower. Okay, and then they make a new math book and just show you that biology can't substitute for math. Right? They have to have. So kind of the first thing we need to do is check to make sure that these names are the same. Okay, and probably the hardest part of this is you have like two textbook objects. This one and then the one being input. So when we write this method, it's going to take in another textbook object. All right, so let's do that. So we're going to do public boolean can substitute for, and then this takes in another textbook. So textbook other, I usually call it. Okay, and so the first thing we need to do is to check if, and I'm going to use this dot get title. We have to see if they have the same title. So this is actually calling the get title up in the superclass. So it might actually, we might have to do super here, but I think this will be okay. I don't know. Well, I'll leave it like that and we'll see. So I'm going to get that title and check if that dot equals the other one's title. So I'm going to call get title on the other one. Okay. And then if that's true, then I need to check if the addition on this one is newer. So I'm going to do if this dot get addition is greater than, or I suppose it could be equal to, the other dot get addition, then it's an okay substitute. Okay, so then I'm going to return true. All right, so that's the only way it'll substitute, is if they have the same title and the addition is newer on this one. And again, this one is, in this case, like the bio 219, the one that we're calling the method on. Okay, so that's it. And then in all other cases, return false. Okay, so you could have like an else return false inside of here if you really wanted. But like, honestly, I just say, you know, if this fails and this fails, then we didn't return true. So we just return false in all the other cases. I think that's probably the simplest way to do it. Okay, and then I just realized I skipped over one. I forgot to do the get book info. And so this one to me was a little tricky to understand, but basically if you look at how the original one works, this one, it just says title dash price. So down here, this part we can just get, that I highlighted there, you can get that by just calling super dot get book info, because that'll print that out. I think it prints it, or does it return it? It returns it. Okay, so we can get that string and then append to it a dash here with the addition number. Okay, so we're going to make like a big string by calling super to get this, and then just do a dash dot addition. Okay, and again, that works because this one already returns the title dash price, which is kind of the start of what we want right there. Okay, so we're going to overwrite the get book info method. And do more space. So I think this one's public string. I think, let me make sure it does a string. Does it return a string? Yeah, it returns a string. Okay, so return get book info, and I'm going to build a new string that is basically super.getBookInfo, and then add to that a dash with the addition. And again, the addition variable is our instance variable way up here that's set in the constructor. I mean, I guess I could have called get addition there too, but I have direct access anyway, so I can just do it that way. And then I just need to return that str. I think that should be okay. So it's kind of an interesting one. Good practice with, doing a subclass or extends. And then again, the trickiest part is if you need to use the constructor in the super class, you do super without a dot. Right, that's what that line's doing right there, calling this one. And if you need to do a method, you do super dot method. So to get the book info that's in book, I'm just going to call super dot get book info. All right, hopefully that covers it. Let me know if you have any questions.